Oh,
What's
we're
the
live.
deal? Real quick, people, real quick. I gotta come over here to this chat and make sure that my mute is on, so I don't do the echo. Yeah, it's on. All right, we good on that. There it is. What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. And this one is the Small Council, baby. We are back at you with another video representing as always. What up to all my people out there in the chat? What up to everybody rocking with us? You know how it is, man. As always, the thug mug is in hand, baby, and we about to get this thing popping for you real quick. So let me allow them to introduce themselves. Small council members that is rocking with me today. As always, ladies first.
Hey everybody, it's T. I'm so glad that I'm here to talk to y'all. I'm actually right now at Ice and Fire Con, hanging with our fellow nerds who's usually in the chats, having a good time out here. Wish y'all were here with me.
It's Charlie.
Hey, folks. Sorry, they're just blanked out. It's Charlie Westeros here, as always. Just like T, I've been partying it up. Not at the Con of Thrones. I'm north of the Wall. I'm in Canada still, and looking forward to talking Game of Thrones episode 2 of season 8, and maybe make a few predictions too for the upcoming Battle of Winterfell.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, before we get into it, I'm sure people are wondering. So, T, please explain a little bit about this con, just in case people do want to go to the next one that app goes, or just join you while you're there right now. Tell them where it's at and tell them how it is.
Okay, so Ice and Fire Con is more like book related. It's not a huge con, it's more of a smaller con. So if you think like a lot of people are intimidating, I think this would be the style for you. But if you want the traditional type of con, then I would think you would go to Con of Thrones. Here it's more like just with friends and out, having drinks, talking Thrones all day long. They party like crazy. They do interesting panels, meetups. Like in an hour or so, they're going to do the tourney at hand, where basically people in cosplay beat the shit out of each other, which is amazing. So it's a fun time. It's in Ohio this year. So I don't know. Next year you guys probably should come out. It's one of those laid back ones, but it's good people here. So it's more like, the best way I can describe it is more like going to camp for adults, and you're just drinking and talking shit and talking Thrones.
That is what it is. That is what it is. We're also joined by our other small council member, has Drive, the physicist herself, the astrophysicist, the dark matter maker, finder maker, Nicolina Tina Boyle. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How's everyone? I hope everyone's doing okay. It's a bit cold in Germany.
What time is it over there in Germany?
7:25 p.m.
7:25 a.m. or p.m.?
PM.
PM. All right. Now, thank you for joining us, Nico. It's not the same without you. So happy to have you. The chat is so happy to have you and stuff. We are here. Everybody's rocking with us and stuff. All right. So we got a little bit about the Ice and Fire Con. So if y'all are interested in going, you know what I mean, the Ice and Fire Con, you know what it's about. It's about drinking and talking to books. So it's mostly books. So I don't know if it'd be great for show related people, but I'm sure if you're a show person, you want to get a little bit more in depth and get into the books, this would be the place for you to go and get into the books, because there's a lot of knowledgeable people down there. Now, T Baby, you said real quick, there's panels. Who are some of these people that are on these panels? Some of these YouTubers or podcasters that people would be familiar with to make them want to go?
So definitely, if you're into Radio Westeros, Yoke Boy, I was about to call him Dope Boy. Yoke Boy and Lady Gwen, they were here. They're dope people. Aziz and Ashay, and I just forgot that man's name. But that's
Sean.
that's on History of Westeros. They're here. Davos Fingers, that podcast is here. Vassal of the Kingsgrave, I think that's the name of their podcast. Some of them are here. Even people that's been in the chat that have their own YouTube, like Drinks and Those Things is here. LMR is here. So it's a lot of interesting it's a lot of interesting people here. And also, if you feel like you can hold your own panel, you definitely can have a panel here as well.
That is what's up. That is what's up. So listen, it sounds like a good time. I went to one myself one time, and I had a good time there. That's actually how I met T and Monero and Alicia Kingston for the first time when I met them, and was at that Ice and Fire concert. It's a very good time, and as you said, it's more like a sleepaway camp for adults that like to drink and talk Game of Thrones. So you're in your element if you would like to do one of those things. But before I send it over to Charlie real quick and let Charlie do his thing, I would just like to go around the horn real quick. Before I do that, I gotta recognize the people up in the chat rocking with us. We got Timo 30s up in the building. We got the Granite Person up in here. We got Peter Griffin's rocking with us. Angelina Highs in this bitch. Miss Cromwell is chilling with us right here. Kamikaze Cobra is up in this piece. John Swift is in here. Bagheera Monero Geek TV is in here. Donis Wentz is rocking with us. Catherine Harden's rocking with us. Fandom D Saint, as always, is rocking with us. Shannon C is in here. Low Gaming Lady Bird is in here. Melanie A, KJ, Derek Brock is rocking with me as always. In fact, I got to make Derek Brock a mod right now. But as always, let me while I do that for my man D, can you just give your ratings and your first initial thoughts on last week's episode, please?
Ladies first.
T-Baby, can you start?
All right, let me just get the hate out the way, okay? I'm going to say it was a 7. I did enjoy this, but it was too much Jaime for me, and I was just ready for the episode to be over with. I'm ready for action now. Like, I get it. We got nice little build-ups, and it was a Jaime goodbye episode, so I should bump it to an 8 just for that, but I don't know. It was just it was written well. It had some good moments. Like, I like how he knighted Brienne and everything, but I'm still going to just give it a 7 because it was too much Jaime for him.
As you all know, there's never enough Jaime in the episode, but I would have to agree with T. It was between 6 and 7. There were some very good bits. There was a lot of fun with Tormund, obviously. Nice get together before the big battle, and this fire, sitting around the fire. I like that bit. But apart from that, it was, well, just laying down the material before the big thing happens in episode 3. So nothing major. 7 for me.
All right, so I got to be honest, I was very conflicted with this episode because in a way I felt a very good episode in of itself. The problem is that following episode 1, which is a pretty slow episode already, this one felt even slower, despite the fact that there's some really great moments to it. So that's why I'm very, very undecided as to how to rate this. Because in some ways, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I want action. But after the episode itself aired, I was like, okay, it wasn't that bad. It was good. And like, it got me hyped up for episode 3. It was a really good warm up for, what we're expecting this Sunday. But you can't really rank an episode just based off of that, I feel. So I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm not really one who rates episodes very, very high. You know how the Don does. You know what I mean? I got to be real about this stuff in here, but I will say that they did a very good job. I think to me it's probably one of the better episodes of Game of Thrones, and the reason why I say that is because they basically took the best episode ever of Game of Thrones, and that is the Battle of Blackwater, and they did the same exact thing. The first half of the Battle of Blackwater was them showing what the people were thinking and what they were doing right before the battle, and the second half of that battle was the actual battle. And I think they just extended that first part out. I really enjoyed the first part of the Battle of Blackwater. I do agree with T. It was too much Jaime Lannister. It basically was Jaime and Tyrion's episode, if you really want to get technical about it. It was their episode, But I like the fact that they stayed in one spot. I didn't think they would show King's Landing. As I said in our prior Small Council video, what were they going to do in King's Landing? What are they going to show there? And that's exactly what happened. There's nothing for them to show there right now. So they did not show King's Landing. So I'm going to say it was one of the better episodes of Game of Thrones, but the fact, as Charlie said, it did follow another setup episode. it's only going to get a 7 from the Don. But I do think it was one of the better episodes of Game of Thrones history. But it gets a 7 from the Don. And he's lucky to get that. All right, Charlie, do your thing, baby.
All right. And yeah, before I get going, I think that's a great point, Tony. In a way, it did feel like the first half of a big epic episode, like you mentioned with Battle of the Blackwater. In a way, it almost would have made for a really good movie if they combined this episode, I'm assuming, with the one on Sunday. At least that's the vibe I'm kind of getting from it. And I think you're right on that point. But anyway, let's talk about episode 8 of season 8, episode 2, not episode 8. It's kind of hard to break this one down because, like you mentioned, everything kind of takes place in the north. So I'm going to try to break it down a little bit by chronological order. So I guess we'll start from the very beginning when Jaime Lannister arrives. He's basically brought before Daenerys, Sansa, and Jon Snow. Daenerys and Sansa basically both contemplate Jaime's fate. They kind of want him dead. He defends his actions as being in service to House Lannister, and also reveals that Cersei was lying to them about sending an army north. Brienne, however, vouches for Jaime, and Jon and Sansa end up allowing Jaime to fight for them. Jaime later speaks with Bran in the Godswood and apologizes for trying to kill him, but Bran holds no anger towards Jaime. Meanwhile, Daenerys is furious at Tyrion for not being able to see through Cersei's lies. Jorah also speaks with Daenerys in private, admitting that he was heartbroken when she chose Tyrion over him as her hand, but he does believe that she made the right choice. And I guess we'll just end things there for that first, 10 minutes of the episode. So I have more questions from this part of the episode and less thoughts necessarily. My first thing I want to kind of hear about is all your thoughts on Tyrion believing Cersei. Basically, do you kind of agree with Danny in that Tyrion was kind of foolish just to buy into what Cersei said? Was it kind of out of character for him? Was it normal that he would just believe her so readily when you kind of know the kind of person Cersei is, especially Tyrion? A couple more questions too. You can answer them. You can also add your own input, obviously. I also want to hear your thoughts maybe on Brienne defending Jaime. Is there a possible romance brewing? Like you guys said, this was a very Jaime-heavy episode, so it makes you wonder. Or was it kind of just the build-up towards her being knighted later on? And lastly, I want to hear your thoughts on Dany and Jorah's speech. More or less, what do you think the significance of that speech was, if any, with regards to Jorah's storyline? I guess the underlying question there really is, do you guys think Jorah will survive next episode? And that's basically all I have to say for that stuff. So who would like to go first?
Ladies, as always.
Okay, Charlie, you hit us with like 30 questions.
He does do that a lot, doesn't he?
No pressure to answer them all. I just throw them out and you guys can.
So real quick, just say the 3 questions one more time.
All right, yeah, I'll go through them a bit slower. There's 3 questions. First question was your thoughts on Tyrion believing Cersei. Was it normal for him to? Like, is it out of character? Kind of weird for him to do that. Second question was, and it's not so much a question. Well, I guess it kind of was. But it was about Brienne defending Jaime. It's kind of a corny one. Do you think there's a romance brewing, or do you think it was just a setup for her being knighted later on? Like, do you think there's anything there out of that part? And then the last question was just thoughts on Dany and Jorah's conversation. Like, what do you think the significance of that was? And basically what I'm asking low-key is if you think he's going to survive next episode, or if you think he has a larger role to play in the series.
Nah, Jorah's out of here. Let me answer the Jorah question first, because the other 2 kind of deal with the same thing. So Jorah, I think he's out of here. I don't think he's surviving Winterfell, but I think it was crucial for him to talk to Dany about forgiveness, because she's in a position where she doesn't know how to read a situation. She's so quick to just admit it's either you with me or you against me. And it was kind of hypocritical, I think, for her to be so mad at Jaime for killing her father when she knows what her father was like. And she had that conversation with Jon where they were she was apologizing to him for what her father had did to his family. So I thought it was hypocritical. She's like, I can be forgiven, but why forgive Jaime? So I was not feeling that. But Jorah definitely needed to tell her that because she's not getting the hint that you have to be able to forgive people. Well, she said to forgive also, I would say, he said that to forgive Tyrion because Tyrion's been making so many mistakes. Now, going to do with your other question about Tyrion and was it normal for him to believe Cersei? It was a conversation with Tyrion and Jaime, and they said Cersei has a way of using the truth to tell a lie. So I think she was just using him because she said it like in a previous season. Maybe having Tyrion on that side fighting for our family would be an advantage to us. So I think Tyrion had good motives because he knows that Cersei will do anything for children, and I think he sees it as, there's a threat. I know you'll protect your children, but it's like Sansa said, you should have never trusted her because when you really think about it, she gains nothing if she goes down there to help them because as soon as she finished helping them out, they're going to attack her. So why would I help you out for you to just turn around and attack me? And I'm sorry, Charles. Oh, you said about Brienne and Jaime. I do think that there's something there. It's always been something there. Like when they were at the river run and she was trying to get Blackfish to go with her when it didn't succeed and she was rowing away, he was staring at her and everything. And this episode, he would not stop staring at her. It was over and over. It's like you can tell this man is in love or he's having these strong emotions about her, like love that's not creepy, which I think he's not used to. So I think that it was more than just to set it up for him knighting her because you didn't have to do any of those things for that scene where he knights her for it to still work. I think it's more is that they want you to know that they really care about each other. Because in my opinion, I think either one dies for the other. Most likely, I think Brienne is going to die saving Jaime next episode. But they're making this connection so that it's going to break you once one of them or both of them goes.
Okay, may I go?
Go for it, Nico.
Well, regarding Cersei and this whole thing with like, oh, she lied and Tyrion believed, as T said, well, yeah, she uses truth to tell lies, but why is he supposed to not make a mistake ever? I think that's completely normal. Even though you're the smartest, wisest advisor, you can make mistakes. And him knowing her, but he probably took into account that she lost her children, and then she was supposed to be pregnant. So, I mean, why not? Why not believe her? And so the talk with Jorah and Dany, because he defended Tyrion and all of this. But I think that the whole Jorah uh, plot in this episode was a setup for him to die next episode. That's for sure. Because now he's like came to term with this little girl from the family. What's her name? I forgot. The little badass from the Bear Islands.
Oh, Lyanna Mormont?
Lyanna Mormont, yeah. And yeah, I think Jorah is out. So Tyrion, I mean, why not make a mistake? Everybody makes mistakes. And the 13, Jaime and Brienne, yeah, it was a setup for knighting her. There is a certain platonic or whatever you want to call it, but it's more admiration. It's not like he's in love. I mean, I admire many people. That does not necessarily mean I want to sleep with them or like be in a relationship with them, right? So I think it's more. I mean, it's stronger with them, obviously, but I don't think there is. They try to push it a bit, but it's not going to happen because this is not the point of the relationship between Jaime and Brienne. And if somebody refers now in the chat to the scene in the pool back in the, where were they? At the time in Harrenhal, like in the bath in the pool.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah, I
Harrenhal.
mean, yeah, that was a scene. I mean that scene is really described in detail in the books and all of this, but it's not the main thing. She is opposed to Cersei. She's very honest and truthful and righteous, and in a way very innocent. So she's everything that Cersei is not. But I think that we're not gonna see like Jaime and Brienne going all over, like up in each other or something. That's not the point. It would ruin why. Why would anybody need that? So that's it for me. Tony?
Yeah, when you deal with Jaime Lannister, the trial of Jaime Lannister, it's very fast, and I appreciate that it was fast. That's the best part about it to me. I think they should have off with Jaime's head. I think they had enough reason to kill his ass. But the bottom line, when you see that trial, when you see everything, what I really took from that whole situation is that Daenerys Targaryen has no power in Winterfell. It didn't matter what she said or anything she did, because the bottom line, Sansa was pulling the strings. When Sansa said, Brienne said he's good, Sansa said he's good, he was good. So it was really Sansa. Sansa was the one that was calling all the shots. Sansa was the one that was doing the do, and it wouldn't have mattered anything that Daenerys had said at that point, because Sansa was the one who was in control. That's what I got from the trial. As for Jaime and Brienne, I don't want to see them have anything like that. I don't know if Jaime Lannister truly knows what love is. He claims he loves his sister. Well, was he really in love with Cersei? Was it a lust thing? It was the only woman he's ever been with in his whole life. Yeah, I don't know. I think, as Nico said, it's like an admiration. He sees in her what he wishes to be. So is that a love, or is this that more of a respect type situation, or a respect that turning into a type of an affection? I don't know if it's a true bone love with them or anything like that. I know people would love to say, oh, Jaime Lannister, the good looking guys with the ugly woman. That doesn't happen in real life, people. All right. And not unless she has a really fat ass or something like a lot of money. All right. And she doesn't have either of those things. So I think that it's like it's most likely just a situation where he's more admiring her and wishing that he could live up to her and be with her. As you said, he would be honored to fight along her side. I think it's more along those lines and everything. As for Jorah Mormont, I mean, I'm going to say the man's going to live. It looks like he's going to die. I think if they were going to kill him, they had plenty of opportunity to kill him. They put the grayscale on him and everything else. They had plenty of time to kill him. I think in the end, he fulfills his father's wish of him joining the Night's Watch and becoming a new Night's Watch commander. That's what his father wanted. That's what his father told Sam in the books that he wanted him to do if he ever ran into him. So I think that's what it's going to be. I think Jorah somehow survives this whole thing, and I think he becomes the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Wow, those are all some great thoughts. Sorry, those are all some great thoughts, folks.
Real quick, Charlie, got a super chat here, 199. It says 6 out of 10 to be nice to someone that hold grudges. There you go. Sorry about that.
It's all good. No, I totally get it. I want to actually say, Tony, you made some great points about Sansa calling the shots at Winterfell. I think that scene was, in effect, meant to kind of reinforce the scene later on when Daenerys and Sansa are talking about, who's going to rule the North later on. It kind of helps reinforce that idea that Dany really isn't wanted in the North. And I do think, naturally the Northerners, us Northerners, they're always very ambivalent towards foreign kings ruling over them since the Targaryen invasion. But I think the events with Ned Stark being killed off in King's Landing and the whole wars that were waged since that time kind of reinforced the notion that the North really does not want to be part of the rest of the kingdoms. And I think that's the underlying tension that was trying to be conveyed in that scene, just like you said, that they're all really just tolerating Daenerys' presence, despite the fact they don't necessarily want to have this foreign monarch there because there is that threat of the White Walkers. I think T-Baby mentioned, you made a great point, T-Baby, about Brienne defending Jaime and that notion that they're building up this like romance only to crush our hearts. Maybe they're going to kill off one of those two characters. I think it was Nico who mentioned another couple characters talking this scene about Dany and Jorah, their speech about potentially having Jorah killed off next episode. It was kind of meant to have them be wiped out as well afterwards, or of course Jorah could end up being the Lord's Commander of the Night's Watch. I would prefer it if he survives, honestly. I have nothing else to add for this scene unless anyone else wants to respond to anything that was said.
Real quick, super chat, AU Pack Meal 24.99. Thank you, my brother. It says, thank you, Tony, for bringing back the small council. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to rock with the people that I started rocking with from the beginning. That's the type of man I am. I always remember all the people I rock with, and this is my family. So I wouldn't rather be rocking with anybody else.
That's what's up. Thank you, Tony. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I just want to say that I couldn't have said it better than Tony when he said that Sansa was definitely making the moves while Dany was basically sitting there. And you could see that they were more respectful and responding to Sansa than they were to Dany. You were right on point with that one.
I know Timo probably doesn't like to hear that, but that's the way it was, girl. Sorry.
Timo's going to cry tomorrow, and I'm going to be there for my girl.
Don't worry, Timo. I'm also Team Dany. I didn't like it either, but we have to admit she ain't wanted in the North. And yeah, I was gonna say I agree with the Pack Mule. Thanks for that comment. It's really thanks to Tony that we're all together here able to discuss the episode still after like 4 or 5 seasons of doing these small council discussions. So thanks, Tony, for being the good host that you are and letting us on your channel to talk GOT. With that said, I think we can move on to the next area, unless there's anyone else that wants to say anything. Alrighty. So, moving on to events in the Forge. Arya speaks to Gendry in the Forge and asks him about the White Walkers. She does her little throwing of arrowheads to impress him. Then we have Sansa and Daenerys clearing the air between them on their mutual, I guess, affection for Jon. But Daenerys has really no answer when Sansa asks Daenerys what will happen to the North once Daenerys takes the Iron Throne, which kind of harkens back to what Tony said about the first scene, that scene with Dany, Sansa, and Jon trying to, I guess, judge Jaime, so to speak. Dany and Sansa are interrupted by the return of Theon Greyjoy, who declares that he wishes to fight for the Starks. We also have Tormund, Beric, and Ed arrive at Winterfell, and they tell Jon that the army of the dead will arrive before the following morning. So these were they weren't really short scenes, but they were generally speaking fairly light. Maybe not the Dany Sansa scene, but definitely the Arya Gendry and especially the Tormund, Beric, and Ed scene. They're kind of like the comedic relief scenes for the episode, I felt. And like I said, especially the Tormund scene. And I think it was kind of the show's way to shout to us that, hey, this is the last happy episode. After this point, it's all downhill. So it was a sweet moment, but at the same time, it was very bittersweet because we as the viewers were enjoying this interaction with all those characters, but we also know it's going to come to an end very soon. And the episode itself gets gradually, I think, more and more melancholic as it progresses. But this was I think, the high point of the episode in terms of happiness. Also, we have, when Arya was throwing those arrowheads, it was a chance for her to show off to Gendry how badass she is, and clearly it helped out. It helped her out in other ways later on this episode. Any thoughts on this scene specifically, or these scenes?
I'm sorry, what was your question, Charlie? I got distracted.
Oh, I just said, are there any thoughts on the scenes? I didn't have a specific question for this one.
Okay, let's talk about Sansa and Dany in that whole scene. I find it, once again, her being hypocritical, where she says basically I'm trying to get back what's been taken from me and my family. And Sansa hit it with, we did the exact same thing. It was our lands were taken away from us. We got it back. What about the North? You can't have the North. They've been fighting for it way too long. And she doesn't really care about the North because she said it's their war. Now, if you're supposed to be the queen of the 7 kingdoms, then it is your war too. People act like if she doesn't handle this situation, it just will go away. This is your problem too. And I think she's being kind of stupid on this situation because she's so set on them having all the kingdoms, but you gave away the Iron Islands, which was, I think, premature. So I like how Sansa handled that situation where it's cool that Jon gave you the North, but we run the North here, so what's going to happen with the North? And she made a good point. And I know a lot of people say, no time to talk about that, but no, she's thinking about the bigger picture. And I keep hearing people saying the bigger picture is just the White Walkers. But it's like after the White Walkers that's been dealt with, what happens after that? That's the bigger picture. And I like the fact that she's still fighting for the North. She's like, you're not getting the North. You probably have to burn us. And Dany's in a situation, if she burns Sansa and kills her, the North ain't gonna respect her. They're not. Like, I think they're so fed up with all this stuff that deals with the South that they're like, we're not dealing with it. Because if they go with Dany, not only do they have to fight the White Walkers, which a lot of people are going to die, but then they have to fight her war when they don't even want to deal with the Southern Kingdom. That's fucked up. And I forgot about the rest that you said, Charlie. I'm sorry.
Gendry Arya seen in the Forge, and Tormund. You should remember that one. Tormund, Beric, and Ed arriving in Winterfell.
Oh, Tormund came to warn him. Okay, so I don't really have too much to say about that scene with Tormund in them, but as far as with Arya, I think it's once again it's letting Gendry know that Arya is not the same person that she was when he met him, because he's still trying to be kind of protective. He's like, I know you're not scared of anything and everything like that, but these are like, you know, death is coming. And she's like, you know, showing him, because like she could say what she's been through all, but some people you just have to show them. And when he was talking about death, he was getting turned on by it. They were lusting after each other this whole episode. But once again, they're setting it up to break y'all hearts, because people always thought, you know, not everyone, but a lot of people thought that Gendry and Arya would get together at some point. But I think they're just drawing in because one of them are going to die. I'm telling you, episode 3, all your faves are dead.
That is true. I think it was a shout out, Tony, right?
Yeah, we got super chat here from Derek Brock 999 says, how does everyone feel about the Night King not showing up and flying to King's Landing? Will the White Walker army display the power of resurrection in the absence of their leader?
Who's going to start with that?
We'll answer that question after we go around the horn with this one. We'll go back to this question real quick.
We
Sounds
can go
good.
back to it real quick now. So I'll be quick over these scenes that TV want. This Dany and Sansa, it's this whole scene was a bit off, I would say. I don't know if it's the acting or the writing or something, but like it's not. They could not make me believe that this is going on, because like, oh, she says, but I did it because I love John, and then like they immediately hold hands and like, what's next? They're gonna braid braid each other hair and talk about boys. Like, no. Of course, then they wanted to show how Dany is. Well, she doesn't give a fuck about anything but the throne, in a way. I like the joke, someone taller. When I said, did you love someone else before someone taller? That's the inside joke between the actors, because it's supposed to be read from the interviews. But that's the best part of the scene. I mean, if the inside joke is the best part of the scene, then you're doing something wrong, I would say. The other scene. What was the other scene with Tormund? No, Arya and
Yeah.
this I did
Arya.
not understand. Because I thought that Gendry and Sansa might end up together, although because it's more age appropriate. I mean, if like Arya and Gendry are together, then who's Sansa gonna marry? When you think about it, because Sansa's going to live for sure. I'm not sure about Arya though, even though I love Arya and I hate Sansa. But that's what is in the background? I hear somebody's is it a chat or something?
Yeah, I think there's
It's not coming
Tony. I
from
think
me.
you got some background noise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me mute myself if I
It's
got
all good.
background noise.
Okay, so this is just a question for everyone. If I'm going to repeat it, if Arya is with Gendry now or whatever, so no matter if she lives or dies, who is Sansa going to marry in the end? Because Sansa lives absolutely 100% for sure. Now I have no clue. I cannot. Maybe Tyrion?
That's what I was gonna say.
Again?
Maybe.
Right? that just only makes sense because there are no contenders at all. I mean, they're gonna be either dead or not suitable for her, like highborn or something. And the third scene, what's the third scene, Charlie?
Arya Gendry, there was the Dany, Sansa, and then there was Ed, Tormund, and Beric arriving at Winterfell.
Well, there's not much to say about that, so that's it for me. Thank you.
Tony, you got some thoughts on the scene, and then we can do that question.
Yeah, so when dealing with the Daenerys and the Sansa situation, I think it just basically sets up Daenerys to flip out. You see, it is this chick. She's greedy. She's dumb greedy. Only thing she really loves is the Iron Throne, and that's the bottom line. She went in there on the false pretense. Talking first, she shows up there in Winterfell, talking about how beautiful Sansa is, and trying to gas her with that la-di-da stuff, right? Then she goes in there. She doesn't even want to go in there and do this. She had to receive counsel to go there and do this and talk to Sansa. She had no intention of going in there and talking to Sansa and having this conversation. The only reason she did it is because Jorah asked her to do it. And that's why she went down there and did that. So she gets in there under false pretense and she's touching her hand, all good. And as soon as she say, what about the North? She pulled that hand away quick because this chick is not trying to give up anything. She feels that she has 2 dragons left and she could just conquer anything, and that's the bottom line. And only thing Daenerys ever loved is the Iron Throne, and that's all she's ever gonna love is the Iron Throne. And I just think that that's what that whole thing sets up right there, is that maybe the possible betrayal of Daenerys against the Jon Snow, that she could flip out. I know a lot of people said before that she could become the last enemy of this thing, but it's quite possible that she could flip out and just bounce. She could take her dragons and go home. And think that the setup of that was happening right there. That was what was going to happen. What was the second question, Charlie?
Talking about the Tormund, Ed and Beric scene, as well as the Arya Gendry scene in the Forge.
The Arya Gendry thing. Look at people, all your people who went out there and you shipped the Gendry and Arya getting married. I hope that this scene and the next scene we do talk about puts that to bed. All right, because that was just a setup for the prior scene that we seen later on. And I know you people, you want Gendry's gonna marry Arya. He's gonna have little babies. He ain't having no babies. This is Game of Thrones, people. This is not Young and the Restless. This is not Days of Our Lives. This is not John Black and Hope. This is not Stefano and Marlena. All right, it's none of them. This is real. This is what Game of Thrones is. Ain't no one having no babies or doing anything like that. Arya done told you before she's not about that life. And ain't no one marrying some chick that got a bag of faces next to him. No one doing that. No one's marrying no chick with a bag of faces next to the bed. I'm not. That's called a hit hoe. All right. And I'm not getting hit by that hoe in my sleep. Nobody is. All right. So Gary Jones, you should be smart enough to see that coming a mile away. So that is how I feel about that. And if you want to take that question, Charlie, after you give your comments, do you know what the question was? If not, I'll read it again.
It was about the Night's King. Would you want to read it again? It was about the Night's King going to King's Landing, right?
Basically, what he's asking is, do you think that the Night's King will forego Winterfell, not be at this battle, and just skip right down to King's Landing? And if he does, will the White Walkers still be able to resurrect people without the Night King being around?
Should I answer that question first? Alrighty. Well, I'll just answer that one quickly then. Basically, no, I don't think the Night's King is going to go to King's Landing. I think Bran... I have questions about that scene as well, but we'll get to that later on. But generally speaking, I think Bran was telling as much of the truth as he knows regarding the Night's King, and that the Night's King wants to go to Bran. One second. They basically set up the episode expecting the Night's King to go to Bran during the battle, and I think that's what's going to happen. And I also do think that the Night's King needs to be there in order to revive the dead, or at least revive them. Like I don't know how to say this in English. Like en masse, multiple bodies at a time. I do think White Walkers are able to revive a few at a time. I'm not really sure. They don't really go into the nitty gritty about their abilities, but definitely to revive a whole army of dead, you need you need the Night's King there. One last comment though, Tony. Not about the Dany thing. We can talk about it another time, but about Arya Gendry and the shipping of Arya Gendry. I really think you're looking at things the wrong way when you say you don't want to sleep with a girl who has a bag of faces next to her bed, because you could also say if you have a girl like that, you could sleep with a new woman every night. Just throwing that out there, or a man to. All right, you have to unmute yourself.
Tony,
That's
you're
a
muted.
very good point. I did not think about it that way, having a different chick every night. But you can have, I guess you can't look at it like that. But, I don't know, Charlie, but that is a very good point, sir. I never thought
Yeah,
about
but you
that.
might end up sleeping with Walder Frey. I mean, does
Oh
anybody
God,
want that?
No.
you mean Filch from Harry Potter? Do you ladies have any thoughts on that question?
Yes, I think he needs to be there because he wants Bran. That's been heavy. I mean, that was explicitly said in the episode, so I think that's the answer to the question. He definitely. Although I like the idea that he might go and just do like a trick, pull a trick, but yeah, he's gonna be there for sure. Also, Tony, whose Sansa gonna marry?
What'd you say?
Go ahead, T.
Who is
Okay,
Sansa
I'm
marrying?
with y'all. I'm with Nico where I think that I'm with Nico with that I think the Night King's target is Bran, but I just can't see him going to King's Landing. If you do not give me dragons beating the shit out of each other, I don't want them. What would be the whole purpose of giving the Night King a dragon if y'all not going to have dragons fighting each other? It just I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because they do like to go for I see the Night King going down and leaving Winterfell
Is she
to
breaking up or is it just
his
me?
generals
Yeah,
or whatever.
Carly.
What?
Sorry, T baby, you're breaking up a bit. Could
You
you?
can't hear me?
You're clear now. It's just when you were explaining me, it was breaking up
Can
for
you hear me
me and
now?
Nico. Yeah, you're good. Do you want to just explain it again?
Yeah, so basically I'm agreeing with Nico when it comes to the Night King staying near Winterfell because his target is Bran. They put that in there for a reason. I agree with you on that. I'm saying that I think it's ridiculous to give the Night King a dragon and not let us see dragons fight each other. To me, that would be pointless. But I can't put that past the showrunners. I think that would be a huge mistake if they did that. Like, I hate that theory.
Oh, I agree with you on that. I want to see dragons fight. Tony, do you have thoughts on
Yeah,
the
yeah, no
Night's
doubt,
King?
no doubt about it. I definitely have thoughts on this situation. I can't see them not having the Night King at this battle. I don't know how fast they can resurrect the dead. You know what I mean? I think that when they showed all those White Walkers in the background, I don't really think they're going to be there fighting a lot. I think they're there just to resurrect the dead when they fall. It's going to take one's going to do it, and block chunks and blocks of them. But I think the Night King has to be there without a doubt to help do that. I agree with you with the dragon fighting. We got to see some dragon action in there. They ain't got no elephants. They ain't got no other CGI. The shot of Ghost was the most lamest shot I ever seen in my life. There was no need to put him there. It looked just like a stuffed animal standing there. I don't know why would they even do that? They should have just left him out. It was just stupid to put him in that one shot to stand there like a fool. It's dumb. So I want to see some. They got all this money. I hope they just didn't put that money in their pocket and they put it on some CGI dragon fights. That's what I need to see here when it's all said and done. You will see the Night King reach King's Landing. There's no doubt about it. That is the reason why they put that hole in the roof on Cersei's map. There's only one reason. They didn't do that so the sunlight can hit it. They weren't trying to make it nice so she can go sunbathing in the map room. She's going to be standing in that map room when the Night King dragon flies over and shoots flame down up in that piece. You're going to see it go down. That's why they even have that in the opening credit scene, the hole in the roof. The only reason that hole's in the roof is so that she can see the dragon fly overhead. So he definitely will make it down there. He just won't make it down there this episode.
Agreed 100%. Any other thoughts, folks, on that scene and that question? Alrighty. I guess we'll
just
move
that
on.
I'm going to be pissed with, get dragons fighting each other.
I still did not get the prediction from Tony. Come on, Tony. Who's gonna end up with Sansa? I really want this from you.
But Sansa is marrying Gendry when it's all said and done. There's no doubt about it that she'll marry Gendry. I promise you that. You see, he likes redheads with the Melisandre situation. You see how he's all excited about it. But it's definitely going to be Gendry in the books. It'll be Eddard Storm. That's why his nickname is Ned, because he'll be the new Ned Stark of Winterfell. He'll just take the name of Stark in there, and since they combine the characters of Gendry and Eddard Storm, she'll marry Gendry at the end of this whole situation.
You hear, folks.
Yeah, no, and people
Theory stays
saying,
up.
"Oh, he slept with Arya." Listen, they're like Kardashians; they sleep with the same men. It's okay. You know, they don't care about that. They don't care about that.
That was her first time. How is she a Kardashian? Don't play with Arya like that.
Oh my god, this is awesome.
Arya deserves to
I'm
get
saying
some.
the
Like, you can
Kardashian
tell.
women be sleeping with the same men. They don't care about that. Like the game done smashed them all. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. So it ain't gonna be no big deal that he slept with Arya. That she's not gonna marry Sansa when it's all said and done. He's gonna still marry Sansa when it's all said and done. And there'll be no hard feelings on that.
I do not see Arya letting her take her man like that.
That ain't her man. She ain't got no man. She ain't got no man. That is not her man. She ain't got no man.
Territory. That's her man.
That ain't her man. If that was her man, she wouldn't have been laying in bed next to him like that when it was all said and done, right? It wouldn't have looked like
it's a battle, so maybe she just couldn't sleep, because if the sex was that bad, Arya would have got her ass out that bed.
Does she know?
There's no way you stay in.
You know what bad sex is when you only had sex one time? How do you know what's good or bad? You don't know. You just know it's sex. That could be.
That is absolutely correct, Tony.
You know if it feels good or not. And if she didn't enjoy it, she would have got up and did.
She might as well have. The way she gave that dude the cold shoulder, she was on the other side of the bed.
Yes, I don't know what single person who had a good first experience. Come on.
She had a good time. Because the home was asleep, knocked out.
Listen. No, did we lose T, baby?
No, she's there.
Oh, okay. I went mute for a second. I will say, though, going back to the root of this whole discussion in terms of Gendry marrying Sansa potentially, look, there are weird things that have happened in the series. I don't think it's that far of a stretch to make that kind of a prediction. I think even Catelyn Stark was supposed to be married to Brandon Stark before she married Ned. And you never know. Maybe they slept together for all, intents and purposes. Maybe there's like a marrying of that.
There's no doubt about it. I can give you some evidence from the show without a doubt. If you listen to the songs that are in the show, the one song, Gendry's theme song, is called "The Bird Without Feathers." That's the name of his song. You can look it up on the soundtrack. Every time Gendry shows up and they talk about him, it's the "Bird Without Feathers" song that plays. Sansa is known as the little bird, and how Gendry will get his feathers is that he'll be with Sansa. That's how that bird will get his feathers. There's no reason to make a song after a man and call it "Bird Without Feathers" about a dude. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. The reason why they did that is because Sansa is the little bird. That's how he's going to get his feathers in the end. That's why you always see Sansa in feathered-like dresses, and that's why you see a holding Robert Baratheon's feather inside the crypts. So there is a lot of show thing. It's just not me wanting to want it to be like that way. That's the way the evidence pushes it towards me from the show.
In exactly 3 weeks, we'll find out if that happens. That's for sure. Shall we move on to the War Council scene? Alrighty. So, at the War Council, Bran reveals that the Night King will pursue him personally, as Bran recalls the Night King attempting to kill several prior three-eyed ravens. The bearer basically... The Red Ravens, who are basically the bearers of humanity's memories. He does persuade the council to let him act as a bait in the Godswood to lure the Night King to him, and he's also previously marked Bran, so he knows where to find him. Theon also volunteers to defend Bran with the Ironborn, After the council adjourns, Tyrion approaches Bran and asks to hear of Bran's adventures since they last met. A few things here. So, in terms of questions, I guess first, what do you think about Bran recounting what he knows about the Night King? Basically, do you feel like Bran was telling the whole story? Do you feel like he knows like the whole story? Do you think he's like withholding some information, or do you think he's revealing everything that there is to be revealed? I'm mainly referring to the fact that he claims that the Night's King exists to create an endless night to erase this world, and that Bran, as the three-eyed raven, is the keeper of the world's memories. I know a lot of people were kind of maybe not annoyed or frustrated, but they did, well, I guess maybe a little bit annoyed that was like the big explanation for the Night's King's motives, whereas a lot of people had more in-depth theories or greater ideas possibly as to why the Night King does what he does. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, basically, do you folks think that there's more to the Night's King than just that? And second thing I want to mention is Bran and Tyrion talking after this episode. It's more of a prediction on my end, but I really think that's a sign that Tyrion actually survives the war, because my opinion is I think Tyrion is actually the narrator of the story. I think he's the one who's recounting the Game of Thrones that we're watching as a story, and I think he's the one. He's basically the only person who's learning about Bran's experiences as the three-eyed raven. So in a way, if Bran does die, he kind of gains that, or at least a part of that memory, if you will. That was just my thoughts on that.
May I?
You may.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would agree with you that Tyrion is absolutely going to survive. There's no way. I mean, I'm not going to go into the fact that he's, what's his name, the avant-garde Martin's favorite, but what's the point of killing him? You cannot kill all of the characters, then what are you left with? Second thing, I think that Bran is not telling everything, because maybe he's cautious. He wants to get people to be serious about fighting, but not too scared, maybe. And I have to admit that I was very satisfied with the answer that the Night King wants to erase the memory. And memory, in a way, is knowledge. So if you remove the knowledge, you don't have, well, not progress, you don't have anything. And, but there should be maybe, yes, he wants to do that, but why? You want the reason why. And I don't know if we're going to get it in the show, if they're going to portray Night King as really pure evil. I would like to have a different dimension, because this was the reason why I liked the books in the first place, because in the first book I hated Jaime, and then in the second book I really got to like it, because it was, you saw the different side to him. So I don't know how they're going to play the show. I cannot predict that. But I like the answer of what he wants to do. Not why, but what the Night King wants to do. So I like talking. I like the talk between Bran and Tyrion. It's just two people with a lot of knowledge. So one from experience of its own, the other from experience of others. So I really, really liked it. Thank you.
I think we have a super chat shout out before we go to UT.
Let me get the super chat real quick, and then T, you could speak on that. There's another one for Derek Brock 499 says, I may have to change my name to Captain Tinfoil. I truly believe that Bran is a COF, meaning Children of the Forest. I think that Bran is a good possibility that Bran is dead. Bray said, Mira says that Bran died in the cave. It's a good possibility that Bran is no longer Bran, that he is Blood Raven, has taken over his body and body snatched Bran out of his own body. So T-Baby, go right ahead and answer Charlie's question if you want, if you will.
Why they do my man like that? What was the question again? I'm sorry, I'm not focused. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. You had a late night. So did I. My question was basically revolving around what Bran was saying about the Night's King. Do you think he's saying the whole truth about the Night's King and his motives? Do you think there's more to the Night's King that meets the eye? Do you think it really is just that the Night's King is pure evil and that's his role and he just wants to kill off everything?
that would be bad writing if that was it, that he just wanted to kill people just to kill them. But I think Bran is telling them only what he thinks they need to know. Like, Bran has all the knowledge, but I feel like he needs people. Y'all saw AK. But I think with Bran, he's like the next Blood Raven, which means that he's going to put people in situations. He might like give you clues and stuff, but I don't think he's going to tell you everything. Because it's something that's bothering me about the way he was staring at Tyrion in the first episode that makes me think he wouldn't tell him everything. I think when it comes to Bran, he's going to tell people what they need to know in order for them to be in the positions to do what they need to do. But I don't think he's going to tell them like their fate. It could be a chance that Tyrion does die, but I'm 50-50 that he might survive since he's in the crypts. You know, they keep saying the crypts is the safest place, which means it's probably not. But I do think that he survived Winterfell, but not Jaime.
Tony, your thoughts?
Thoughts on what we doing, right? We're talking about the whole plan of Bran. I think the plan's a dumb plan. When you look at that whole situation there, you would think that when you look at this battle, you would think that they would be able to beat these White Walkers pretty easily. They have 2 dragons, he has 1. They have artillery, he has none. All he has is number and troops. You would think that if they could make some type of funnel these zombies into fire, funnel them into these dragon glasses, they should be able to hold them off, like, you know, just like the 300 Spartans, hold them off, shoot over top, better than the 300 Spartans. The 300 Spartans didn't really have arrows, but have them shoot over the top of them and take these guys out. To me, the best part, if I was in this thing, I wouldn't be holding up in Winterfell. I'd be holding up in the Vale, and I'd be having them walk down that alleyway right there and just killing them as they come by. I think that would be the best place for them to be. I don't even know why they're up in Winterfell. But the fact that they have all the advantages and the heroes should win, they're gonna lose. I don't know how they're gonna lose, most likely, but they're gonna lose this battle. They're gonna lose this battle big. Their plan is stupid. To have Bran by the weirwood tree and just standing there with Theon Greyjoy of all people to protect him. What is Theon going to do? What have we ever seen Theon do in battle that has been successful? Yes, he got Yara out. How he did it, I don't know. That was dumb. But he has never done anything that would make me trust my life in Theon Greyjoy's hands. I would never agree to put my life in the Ironborn. When they say, oh, you heard, the Ironborn are good at sea. This ain't got no damn sea. This is not a water battle. This is an on land battle. He should have his people, the North people, the Mormonts and them protecting him there, not the goddamn Greyjoys. And for this reason, they're gonna die. It's a dumb plan. And then their plan is he gonna ask him, oh, can Dragonfire hurt the Night King? And he says, I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? You should know everything. You should know what's going on here right now. So if their plan is to burn this man with Dragonfire, just from that statement makes me think that Dragonfire has no effect on the Night King, and they're going to find that out when he gets there. They're going to try to roast him, and he's going to walk right through that Dragonfire, just like he's walked through all the other fire. So when I look at their plan, it seems like Jon Snow tried to use the same plan that Ramsay Bolton was going to use against him, and I think it's going to be unsuccessful, and they're just going to get slaughtered, and everyone's going to get killed.
Did you have any thoughts on the Night King's plan, though, Tony? Like, about what the Night King himself wants? Do you think it is just to take over the world? He's pure evil, or do you think there's something more?
No, it can't. Not the way George R. R. Martin writes. You know, he says straight up that he doesn't make villains that are like that just come back out of the and just want to destroy people. There's always something behind it. So I think the Night King it's definitely not just to erase anything or kill all the Green Seers or anything like that. Something else going on there. I just don't think they're exploring that in the show with the limited time that they have. Because you got to remember, this is really just one season 7, right? This is not season 8. This is just season 7 cut in half. So when you look at it like that, they're not going to explore that. This is going to make him like he's the evil guy, and that's it. I know the Night King's character said that. He just wants to see the world burn. I think they just probably told him that just to give him motivation to play the part. and didn't want to get him too confused with stuff and say anything else about it. So that's what they told him that he wants, and I think that's all it is. But I think they're definitely, especially dealing with the books, there's something else going on there, and that we'll figure that out. But I don't know if we'll see that in the show. Maybe in the prequel they'll go into that, but not in this show.
Agreed. I really hope they delve into that aspect of the character in the prequel. Did you have something to say?
I just want to add that there's actually a panel dealing with how to actually kill the others, and that question came about was, can like a dragon actually kill the knight? A lot of people were questioning, like they didn't think it was going to be that you could burn him to kill him. So that's interesting you brought that up.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to find out this episode whether or not at least I suspect whether or not the dragon flames have any effect on him. At least I'm hoping. With that said, I think we can move on to the next scene, if you guys are good with that. And this one involves Missandei, uncomfortable among the Northerners, suggests to Grey Worm that they go to her homeland of Nath after the war with the Unsullied to defend the peaceful people there. Jon, Sam, and Ed reminisce about their time together in the Night's Watch. Arya asks Gendry why Melisandre wanted him rather. And Gendry recounts how she pretended to seduce him in order to leech his royal blood, revealing to Arya basically that he is Robert Baratheon's bastard. Arya and Gendry have sex, as Arya wants to lose her virginity because she expects that she might die in the impending battle. I guess my basic question is, or are your thoughts on the sequence of, I guess, coupley scenes this episode? We had, Missandei and Grey Worm, getting comfortable, like daydreaming about the future once the battle's done and once they're free to do what they want. And we also had, Arya and Gendry, of course. Personally, I'm very afraid that either Grey Worm or Missandei will die next episode. I'm leaning towards Grey Worm. And I certainly can't say whether, at least I don't think Arya and Gendry will die, but you never know. I mean, they build up these scenes with that melancholic vibe to them, so you really don't know if this is just their way of hyping us up for the possibility, or at least a glimpse of something hopeful for just crushing it next episode. So yeah, that was basically my question for you guys. Thoughts?
If I may, I think Grey Worm is going to die. I think they were really building up to that, and I'm sorry about this is how it's going to be. I liked the way they included in the show this racism in the North, basically. Yes, I think it was. It's good to put it out there. It was subtle. I mean, not really subtle, but you could feel it, and I think we should talk about it more, or be aware of that it's present. The other thing that you said, Arya and Gendry. Well, yeah, I mean, if I knew that I might die tomorrow, the first thing I would do is probably get my Dutch man and tell him to have some time together, I guess. But nothing. And if she did not enjoy it, and I know that that's the most interesting thing for people to talk about, but I don't care if it's not the point if she enjoyed it. The point is that they did it, so she's expecting that she might die. It's melancholic, as you said. It's the perfect word to describe it. I think Gendry lives absolutely 100%, but I would like her to survive, but I don't know. I'm a bit afraid. Now I'm really afraid because of that. I hope she doesn't, but we'll see. So that's it for me.
I certainly hope so too. Tony, did you want to take a super chat before we move to tea? Or are you?
Yeah, let me answer these super chats real quick. Let me put up in there. We got a couple right here. Fernandez T, 15 Bean says, for the small council, we pull the strings. Thank you very much. We got another one, $9.99 from Gambino Capo. Cam, what's that say? I don't know what that word is. Can it what?
Three-Eyed Raven.
Oh, Three-Eyed Raven die of old age. Is it? I think he can't. If the Night King couldn't get into the cave prior to touching Bran, why even lure Bran up there in the first place? Is a dragon the only way the Night King could have gotten south through the wall? a couple of questions there. If y'all want to answer those questions, we definitely can. I'll give mine. Yes, it's here. Three-eyed raven can die of old age. I do believe that's what he was on the brink of before Bran got there in the books, especially when you see him there. Is the Night King? If the Night King couldn't get into the cave prior to touching Bran, I don't know if he could have. I mean, maybe it took him to get in touching Bran to get through the cave. I have no idea if that's the case. It wasn't really proven, because when it only looked like the entryway was protected from the whites, and because they burrowed through the holes of the tree and came right in there, they didn't explode. So I don't know if that was because of the touch, or that they just took another entryway in there. And is the dragon the only way Night King could have gotten south of the wall? I think it's a good effect for them to do in the show. I don't know why they showed him touch the floor and crack the ice, and then not have him use that same technique to bring down the wall and do the dragon. So that's a little suspect for me when dealing with that situation. I'll let y'all continue with your conversation.
So do y'all want me to answer the question, or I guess Charlie's question? I'll answer
the question and the super chat too.
Okay, Charlie, you're gonna have to remind me what your question was, but let me get to this. I do think you can die of old age. And to your question, as far as why would he lure Bran in the first place, I think everything had to happen for a reason. And I think he knew that Bran plays a certain role in this war. And I think it kind of goes to prophecy. Like, you can try to get away from prophecy all you want, but it kind of gets you right back into what the prophecy is. I think that Blood Raven saw something and knew that Bran had to be there. I think Bran's a powerful green seer, and I think he's the key to them to survive long night. And your other question was about the Night King could have with the dragon. I'm gonna have to go with you on Tony. Like, I think that's just a show thing. I think it's gonna be something completely different in the books. And Tony, you have to remind me what your question was.
Sorry, one sec. It was basically, it wasn't really a question. It was just kind of like, it was what your thoughts were on the couple scenes, like the scenes with Arya Gendry and the scene with Missandei and Grey Worm. Basically, I'm asking if you think they're gonna survive next episode, low key.
Oh, y'all know I think half y'all face are out of here. So Grey Worm, goner. I think yeah. Anytime you hear somebody talking about their dreams and what they're going to do and stuff, yeah, it's a wrap for them. As far as Gendry and Arya, look, I'm cool with her getting her son before a battle. This might be your last days. I digged it. Like, I got the vibes that they wanted each other. They kept looking at each other, and Gendry was like messing with the dragon glass and stuff. He was all looking at Arya like he wanted her right then and there. And then when he saw her, show her skills with the archery and show her skills hitting her target after target after target, he was getting turned on by that. So I'm all for it. Like, I get people get uncomfortable seeing Arya get her son, but she's an adult now. So I'm all for it. I like the fact that they finally show us a sex scene where it's consensual. It's not no rape or some weird incest. It's just natural.
Those are absolutely some great thoughts, T. Anything to add, Tony?
You know me, Charlie. You know me. I got stuff to say about that goddamn scene with Arya. Let's go. The Arya sex scene with Gendry. I didn't appreciate seeing that shit. She is still the little girl in the helmet to me. She has such a baby face. I don't want to see no side booty or side boobage from Arya or Macy Williams. Maybe in like 10 years when she gets like a more of a woman face. But she has such a baby face, even though I'm sure it was a stunt double. I'm sure it wasn't her. It's weird for me. I just don't like seeing it. I really don't. I don't. Sansa says she looks more like an adult, so I wouldn't care. But Arya, that baby face of hers, I don't want to see no side booty, and I don't want to see no side boobage from her ever again. Not whatsoever. Ever, 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 ever. All right. Now, in dealing with the sex scene, dealing with Arya and Gendry, obviously, listen, she thinks she's gonna die. She wanted to see feel like how it was and stuff like that. I'm all about that. There's no doubt about it, and I can understand that. But that does not mean people that they are getting married. It should just show you that they are not getting married. Listen, I've been in bed with women many times, right? And I understand when a woman's happy when in bed because they like to cuddle with you, like to put their legs around you. They don't care how hot it is. They still up on you, grabbing you and wrapping everything around like a pretzel, like a goddamn twister board, right? There was no twisted board going on there. She done turned over and gave him the cold ass shoulder. And that's what, when you get that cold shoulder, and I've gotten that cold shoulder too, I've gotten it. That ain't love, people. That's just fall asleep and leave me alone. That's just hurry up and finish. That's what that is right there. And that's what I took it as. There was no love there. She just got herself something just to feel what it was like. And she was out the door. And it didn't mean anything else but that. That is exactly where I see the Arya situation when it goes down with Gendry. And I think that right then she understands that she's just not the wifey material. She's just not that type of chick. She's just ready. She wasn't ready to do anything like that. She just did a thing, and now let's get on with this battle. And that's it. Arya just like a dude. She's like a female little Bronn. You know what I mean? Ain't no love in there. Just give me what I had to get. I got what I got. Now it's time for me to just start the step. And that's it. You know what I mean? So that's what I take it from that. Because we got a super chat here from Timo 20 Bean says, Bronn should be there by now. So you think he will try to kill Jaime and Brienne sacrifices herself to save him? He holds her as she dies like Jon held Ygritte. Oh my God. Oh, let me tell you something, Timo. If they run that in this battle, and Jon and Jaime is holding Brienne while the battle is raging around them, like Jon did Ygritte, I will turn the goddamn show off. All right, because that is so unrealistic for them to do some bullshit like that. If they pull that soap opera ass shit, I don't care where it is in the goddamn show, I will turn this goddamn show. Because if I see this dude just holding up and arrows flying over his head and White Walkers just walking right past him while he's looking at Brienne's eyes, listen, if Brienne dies and he's looking in her eyes, those eyes better turn goddamn blue. All right, and she better reach up and strangle his ass. That's the only way that shit makes sense to me. If it's not, it better not go down any other way but that way. I will let y'all finish answer that question from Timo before we go into the other super chat.
I guess I'll go first. I'll respond to what you said, Tony, and I'll also respond to the question. I don't think we're going to see Bronn this episode or this coming episode. I think maybe we'll encounter him in episode 4, and I have trouble seeing him wanting to kill Tyrion and Jaime. I don't know. I feel like there's too much history there. And we've already had like one betrayal from one of, I guess, Tyrion's inner circle with Shay back in season 4. And even the setup in the TV series felt really weird with that. So I'm going to say I hope not. I really don't think so. There's not going to be any executions from Bran's hands. I'm hoping anyway. As for what you said, Tony, about the Arya Gendry sex scene, I hate to break it to you, but that was actually Maisie Williams. Apparently the directors asked her, from what I've heard, maybe I'm wrong. If I'm getting it wrong, I apologize. But if my memory serves me right, they asked her what she'd be comfortable with doing. And basically what we saw on TV was what she thought would be, I guess, best suited. In real life, actually, Maisie, I think she's like 22 or 23 now. But I do kind of get why people are a bit ambivalent towards that scene, because we grew up with her, like, we're seeing her as like a 13-year-old girl or a 12-year-old girl, however old she was, the actress that is, back in season 1. So it is a little bit weird seeing this little kid all of a sudden an adult and getting down with someone. So I can understand why there's some apprehension there. Yeah, those are just my thoughts on that.
And do you want to see? That's like looking at what's that chick's name? Look, that Everybody Loves Raymond chick. I mean, Raven Simone. That's like watching Raven Simone in the goddamn Cosby Show, and then 7 years later seeing her boob. I don't want to see Raven Simone's little boob 7 years later. That's just crazy to me. So I think that if Dan and Dave put that out there, they're perverts. All right, and they shouldn't be doing things like that. That's just me personally. She's just too little. I don't want to see. I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to see little Rudy Huxtable. I don't want to see her naked either. I don't want to see Rudy naked. You know what I mean? It's just too little. I just see little Rudy. You know, that's the way I look at these things when I see him on TV. You know what I mean? Would y'all want to see Gary Coleman naked? Would you want to see Arnold doing a sex scene? No, you wouldn't want to see that, did you? You didn't want to see that, right? So that's the way I look at that situation, man.
Tony, may I add something? I understand your point, but she's like 16 or 17. You know, people of this age, it's a fact of life. You do have sex when you're that age. It's normal. They just chose to show it, but why not? She also wants to experience life. So far, she experienced all the shit. I mean, she was trained to kill people. Why not to get like a little sum of whatever Robert Baratheon's ass before she dies or something? So
I don't think anything wrong with her doing it. I just think, you know, they didn't show Sansa when she was in her sex scene. They faded to black, right? I think they could have faded to black on this one too. That's just me personal, but I understand why they did it. You know what I mean? It's when I look at her, I see that little girl with the helmet on. I still see her like that, and it'd be hard for me not to see her like that. And that's just me.
But she's not anymore.
I know,
little girls grow up.
It's just me. It's
and
just
they like to do things.
It's true. I understand what you're saying. In 1760, everyone has sex then. You know, everyone's doing that. This is what it is. But it just, to me, I just see her as a little girl with the helmet on her head. I don't see it like that. Not in a sexual way. I don't want to look at it like that. Me personally. Other people do. Go right ahead. Do your thing. But not me.
Tony turned into Uncle Phil real quick. Y'all don't never. She old now. Like, let Arya get her. You know, like, look. I'm glad we didn't see Sansa and all that because she was getting raped. I didn't want to see that, but I like the fact that, like, y'all have to realize she's growing up. And Arya, she basically took what she wanted. She was like, I want that. Let's go. She's like, I'm not the bloody red woman. You're gonna drop your pants. I get it. It's tough seeing someone that you seen grow up. But like, if it was someone else, y'all be like, yeah, she looked good and she was doing that. Did you see that? But it's Arya. Arya can't get none because she's a warrior and all. No, like, let Arya get her son. She might die. Arya can't get some and just enjoy life, Tony. She would let you get some.
You're putting words in God's mouth. I said it's fine that she did it. I just didn't want to see it. Right? She could do it. I just seen her drinking that beer, drinking that wine or whatever. Yeah, she do what you gotta do. I'm just saying they could have faded the black on that. They could have faded the black. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see the booty. I didn't want to see the boobage. I didn't need to. And let me tell you something about sex in those days.
What about Janet Jackson? What about Janet Jackson?
Well, that's
Janet Jackson.
That's Janet. That's
She was getting her ass on good times, and now she's like, control.
Wait, listen, Janet Jackson way older than me. So when I was looking at her, she was older. You know, we're talking about someone young. It's different when someone older. Janet Jackson way older than me. You know what I mean? But I did see it on Good Time as Penny, right? I seen her as Penny, and then I seen her progress to different strokes as Charlene, as Wilson's girlfriend, and then she was hey, Janet Jackson, baby. You know, but she's older than me. I think it's a different situation when someone's older than you and someone younger than you. You know what I'm saying? That's why only I could bring up is like Rudy Huxtable or Raven Simone, like those chicks, you're little girls to me. And I understand that they women and stuff like that. Listen, Raven Simone, Rudy Huxtable looked great in Beauty Shop. You know, she looked beautiful in Beauty Shop, but I don't want to see her doing that. That's just me. You know what I mean? When she was on the cover of FHM, I didn't buy that magazine. I didn't look at that magazine because to me, she was Rudy Huxtable. And that's just what it is, you know what I mean? So that's just me. Now, like I said, I ain't saying nothing. She could do what she got to do, and I understand why she did it. I'm just saying that they could have faded to black for the brother. I would have rather seen the fade to black on that situation. I didn't need to see that.
Somebody in the chat said Tony turned into a super dad. Yes, you're totally super dad.
You know,
it's funny because I was thinking Tony is a dad.
My little Arya. My little Arya, man. My little Arya. A little helmet on backwards, you know? I don't want to see, you don't want to see little Arya with helmets getting a back blown out. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
She was like that back blown out. Arya was on top, guaranteed.
And let me say this too about back in the day sex. I couldn't do that stuff. All those clothes to take off, I would have already been down and sleeping. Oh my God. They got 10, 15 layers to come off of that stuff before you even get up in there. You would have had to fluffing me back up. I would have been like, wait a second, girl. Get undressed, take you half an hour to get undressed, then come back over here. Because they got too many goddamn clothes going on back then. I don't understand what's going on.
That they probably didn't wash too much back then either.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
Tony, you sound like Brazilian students in Europe. Like everybody has too much clothes on in Europe. Yeah, but it's fucking cold here.
there was layers and layers and layers of car. We do have a super chat here from Amy. It says, did Tyrion imagine for a moment that he would like to kill Cersei as a white? Some foreshadowing in the dragon pit last season. Also, maybe a metaphor for Cersei giving birth to a dwarf. How do y'all feel about that situation right there? Did Tyrion imagine for a moment that he would kill Cersei as a white? And will Cersei give birth to a dwarf? And thank you, Amy.
I'll go real quick. He did say when he was talking to Jaime and Jaime started to walk away to look at Brienne, he did say, you know, maybe we'll all die and I'll go marching down to King's Landing and kill her. So he did imagine that or throw that line out there. And what was the second part of the question?
Giving birth to a dwarf?
Yeah.
Cersei?
Oh, no, that baby's not making it. It's going to be a I said misborn. It's going to be a miscarriage. But that baby not making it.
I would agree with T. There's not going to be any Cersei babies anymore, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, I mean, I don't know, I feel as a woman to woman, I feel bad for her in that sense. But this Tyrion, yeah, he imagined like killing her many times, but not really. Like in reality, I don't think it's going to happen because I always thought that Jaime is going to be the end with Cersei, and that's it for me.
I'm still not convinced that Cersei's pregnant 100%. I'm not convinced on that one at all. I think she could have just been gassing Jaime, gassing Tyrion, playing the card. She put her hand down on her stomach, thinking that she's pregnant. Not convinced on that 100%. That's what's going on and stuff. So I don't know if that's the case. What up to the OTDA holding down the gap for me? Finally made up in this piece. And what up to my queen Cheryl Queen Strader in the build? Happy to see you up in this piece too.
I'm just going to answer that question real quick. I agree with what you've all said. I don't think Tyrion's going to be going to kill Cersei with his own hands, and I don't think she's going to give birth to a dwarf. I go back and forth on whether or not she's pregnant. I still haven't made up my mind. I'm leaning more towards pregnant and miscarriage than not, because I think that would be more like, that would really, really destroy her, because I think that's the last thing she's holding on to. Either the idea of a child or like the possibility of having a child. I think that's the only thing that's really, I don't want to say keeping her emotional, but like beyond that, she has nothing to live for other than to just rule and piss people off. So we'll see. Should I go to the next scene?
Yes, indeed.
Alrighty, let's do this. Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, Pod, Davos, and Tormund gather in a meeting hall to drink before the battle. The conversation turns to why women, and in particular Brienne, cannot be knighted, in response to Tormund's remark that he would knight Brienne without hesitation. Jaime knights an emotional Brienne. I kind of have to go back on what I said earlier about the earlier scene being the comedic peak of the episode, because this scene was hilarious with Tormund's comments about drinking breast milk from a giant, and just the whole like rapport going on, especially between Brienne, Jaime, and Tormund. It was just such a funny scene. But at the same time, it was also melancholic because we keep getting reminded, it's all going to come to an end soon. Generally, I want to hear what you guys think about that scene. But first, I think it's important to mention that there was a clear tie-in with the Dunk and Egg series. I mean, we had the name of the episode named for this scene, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which, of course, is the name of the prequel series, which features Sir Duncan the Tall. And I think it's just yet again another way that they're hinting / showing us that Brienne is very likely the descendant of Sir Duncan. I think it was nice for us book readers because we know more about that whole aspect of Brienne and Sir Dunk, or at least the Sir Dunk storyline, whereas maybe show watchers wouldn't really catch on to that just because they haven't read the books or read the prequel series. They don't really mention Sir Duncan very, very much in the show either. Also, it also makes me think that she will not die, Brienne, that is, just because I kind of feel like her path is going to be mirroring that of her ancestor. I think she is really meant to be the first Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, or whatever's left of the Kingsguard when all is said and done. I think that her being knighted was just the first step towards that end. But maybe I'm just being hopeful. What do you guys think? Ladies first.
See, baby, can you go, because I'm eating a carrot?
Okay. I think that the whole scene, this is one of the scenes I actually enjoyed about the episode. I did like the scene where he knights Jaime, and of course I love Tormund's part. He's been like the funny comedic part of this season, which makes me think he's going to be dead next episode. But I just like how they all kind of gathered in that room to stay warm, and then it became such a nice scene where they were talking about knights, and I like the fact that Tormund was like, fuck traditions. Like, he can clearly see she's a good fighter and that she's been around. Like, the fact that, and of course with wildlings, they don't view like women can't do these things. They view them as equals. So I like this scene. This is one of the scenes that made me really enjoy it, even though it was too much Jaime. Like, that last scene with Jaime and Brienne when he knighted her, that they did that perfectly.
I would have to agree. I'm sorry, my man is cutting carrots. I think to step away. I think that everything in these scenes was fine except one thing. Why Sir Brienne? What the fuck? I think there's no point if, like, why do you want to be like a man? And I would agree absolutely 100% with Tormund. Fuck traditions. Yeah, traditions are the reasons we go to war. But why Sir? Why not just Lady Brienne, but she's a knight or knightess or whatever you want to call her? Like, that was a bit off. I think they should have like put some thought into that. So it's not like women want to be like men. It's just that you want to have the same rights. And yeah, Tormund scenes were amazing, especially the one, not just this around the fireplace, but also the one when he shows up, and I don't remember who it was there, but it was like John and some other people, and he just stepped in from the like side of the camera and hugged someone. That was glorious. I really really like that scene. But and the stories with Giant, and yeah, everybody thought that he's going to say, why did I do it, because I have a big you know what, but then he's like, no, I slept with her, and I drank the milk. So the memes were really funny. So also the knighting itself, when Jaime did this, that was really good, and I will repeat that, except for the fact that why I really don't like Sir Brienne. What the fuck does this mean? Really, what does it mean? Can somebody explain to me?
Do you want to go, Tony, or do you want me to respond to that?
Having this mute button
For
on. Go
me,
ahead,
the
respond, Charlie.
Sorry, you said I can go?
Yes, sir.
All right, sorry. As many people are pointing out in the chat here, Nico, I think you have to remember it's not written SIR but SER. So I think in a way they're trying to show that the term "sir" could be like a gender neutral pronoun. It just happens that it's been used for men because only men became knights in Westeros. So I can see why you're a bit apprehensive at that. But I also think, given the situation, it does make somewhat sense. I guess they could opt for a feminization of Sir, but typically, like, the female equivalent would be a lady, like Lady Brienne, which is what she was or is. But of course, ladies in this context don't go to war; they don't fight usually. So I don't know. I guess I can see both sides of the coin. Personally, I don't mind her being knighted as Sir SCR Brienne. That was all.
No, those are valid points. I can see that. I could be persuaded into that, but still, it just felt a bit wrong with me. You know. And I have a lot of things to say because I work in science and it's, male-dominated area, especially in physics. So I have a few problems.
Well, they call you Scientist Nico. That's still for women too, right?
No, Nico is fine. I don't need titles.
Dr. Nico.
Not yet.
Not yet, soon. Tony, do you have anything to add to that?
We're dealing with in the chat. I'm sorry, I had to deal with some people out there. People trying to act the fool. But thank you to my mods holding it down and whacking these fools when they try to come up in here. What was the question, Charlie?
We were just discussing the scene between Tyrion, Jaime, Brienne, Pod, Davos, and Tormund when they're gathering.
It's probably first. We'll deal with Tormund and his milk drinking, falling down his beard, looking all crazy and stuff. No one needs to see that. Keep that stuff in your mouth. I mean, he poured more of it. I've seen people pull this shit at fraternity parties and that when I was in college doing all these things, act like they're drinking the beer and really they're spilling it down their chest. They ain't drinking shit. You ain't fooling no more, Tormund, with that. Keep it in your mouth and let me see it go down. That's how a real person does. Seeing people try to do keg stands and pull that shit. You're just wasting everything. Next, I will just say this. It probably is one of the greatest scenes in all Game of Thrones, seeing Brienne get knighted. I'm not an emotional guy. Only when it comes to certain things, you know what I mean? But I definitely was very happy to see that. And got a little choked up. I got a little choked up in there seeing Brienne get knighted. It was a very good thing. She's very well deserved. And it's funny that it took a wildling to point this out. Someone from beyond the wall, to point that when it should already have been done. Jaime should have stood up and got that done from the jump. But that was more like the battle for Brienne between Tormund and Jaime. Like they were both fighting over her at that particular time. But Tormund was over there making his case known and stuff like that. But she don't like big dudes. She likes pretty boys. It's a known fact. She liked Renly, pretty boy, and she liked Jaime. She a pretty boy guy. She liked pretty boys. She don't like that rugged type of guy because she rugged herself usually, So he just ain't got no shot with that. Even though people may want to see that has as much chance to happen as Arya and Gendry. So it's not happening when they get for a marriage between them two. It's not going to go down. But I really think that was one of the greatest scenes in all Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, when you get a scene like that, that means someone's going to die, right? Someone getting got. I think Brienne has a very good chance to make it and become part of Sansa's Queen Guard when Sansa becomes the Queen of Westeros. I think she has a really good chance of it. Jaime Lannister, sorry, Charlie. Jaime ain't making it. He's got too much blood on his hands. There's just no way I could see Jaime Lannister survive in this situation. I just don't think it fits the story for him to survive. So I just can't see him making it.
No need to apologize to me. I agree. Any last thoughts on that scene, folks?
I just want to say that I agree that Jaime is out. This was definitely a Jaime-centered type of episode. I think they wrapped up his story, ladies. I think that they wrapped up his story, and I could see both of them going out. It's something that Brienne said in season 2. She was like, "Who would want to die for a Lannister?" And it's been stuck with me ever since. I'm like, no what? She's dying to save a Lannister, most likely Jaime. And I'm with Tony. I don't want him holding her in the middle of a battle where there's a bunch of zombies attacking y'all. But I think Jaime's gone too. So Jaime and Brienne's out of here.
I don't think Brienne is out of there. She has to be. I mean, we predicted that years ago in one of the councils that Brienne is going to be the new the captain of the
Lord Commander, Kingsguard? Yeah.
Lord Commander, yeah. Not Lord Commander, is the captain? The Lord Commander is the Night's Watch. This is like, or whatever is called the title. But Jamie is going down like with Cersei. That I really, really believe in that. That only makes sense to me. But Brienne has to remain. As I said, yes, it's a very famous thing that some of the characters are dead in Game of Thrones, but you cannot kill all of the main characters. You have to have something in the end. So just keep it a bit realistic.
Yeah, I don't know if you said on
Oh,
the.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
Go
All
ahead.
the Lannisters got to go. They all got to go because that's what they're known for. They're known for taking out the houses of other people, and I think that in the end, their house has to get taken out. That just makes it poetic. Tywin Lannister killed the reigns of Castamere. They must pay for the sins of the father, so his whole family has to die. Going back to the Missandei Grey Worm in the north, that was definitely racism in this show. They're definitely racist. And when they were looking at you could see him when he rode in there and they were looking at him. I felt like it was Django Unchained. They were looking at him. They were saying, "What is that N word doing on that horse?" That's what they wanted to say when they seen him driving by, and you know it. That's what they were saying when he was saying, because that's the look they gave him. What is that N word doing on that goddamn horse? Disliking Django Unchained. That's what I felt about it, but it was definitely some racist law. But I think the fact that you see them wanting to bail on Daenerys and go back to their homeland, it just shows you that Grey Worm is that they're not gonna kill both black people. Only got two, goddamn it. They better not kill Missandei. They better not. They better not. So Grey Worm's out of here. Grey Worm is gone. He's got to get up out of here, and that is the way it goes. As for if y'all ain't seen Django, then you ain't gonna understand what I'm just talking about. But if you let's watch the movie Django, then you understand what I'm talking about, people. And that's what it is. But that's definitely the way they were looking at him there. They were definitely looking at him like they never seen black people before. They were not down with the black people up being up in the north.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how they're. I don't want to say they're making social commentaries on our world, but in a way they are. And it's well, it's actually not really that subtle. It's interesting because in one hand, you sympathize with the Northerners because they don't want to have Daenerys impose her power over them. They don't want to have this foreign rule over there. On the other hand, you see how they react to people from other lands, and they don't really. It's not exactly favorable. And like Tony said, for me, it kind of reminded me of that the stereotypical line that you get in some movies where the person from the deep south says, "We don't take too kindly with your kind around here." Kind of made me think of that, the stare that they gave Missandei and Grey Worm. And like you said, my hunch is Grey Worm dies, and I hope Missandei doesn't die, but they could be really cruel and kill off her and leave him alive. I think that would be, in a way, worse. I think the best, well, in a way, it's less cruel if they both die, because at least then they're together forever, and one's not living without the other, but, well, we'll see next episode. Should we go to the next scene? Alrighty. Final scene of the episode. Couple of last scenes, actually. Jorah asks Lyanna Mormont, his cousin, to remain in the crypts of Winterfell during the fight, but she refuses to comply. Sam approaches Jorah and gives him House Tarly's Valyrian sword, Heartsbane, out of gratitude for their influence, of Jorah's father, Gior, had on Sam. Daenerys visits Jon in the crypts, where Jon is standing in front of Lyanna Stark's statue. Jon reveals what Sam and Bran told him of his parentage. She questions whether this information, having come from Jon's brother and best friend, is reliable. She further notes that if it is true, Jon would have a claim on the Iron Throne, implicitly alluding to a potential conflict between them. Before Jon can respond, they are interrupted by horn blasts signaling the approach of the army of the dead. I'm just going to plug in my earphone so you guys can maybe hear me better. I don't have too much to say. Well, because I want to hear your thoughts more. I will say, though, with respect to the Dany and Jon scene, a lot of people were saying how they were surprised Dany didn't react more at the fact that she was, that she's basically been sleeping with her nephew. And I can kind of get that reference is kind of a funny, thought not to have given the situation. The problem is, I think Dany, and you guys all know I love that character. I think the issue with her is that she's kind of lived her whole life, or at least not her whole life, but all her whole story arc in Game of Thrones, expecting or desiring the Iron Throne. Her whole goal, her whole life purpose is the Iron Throne. And I think one of the points of the show is, in a way, to show that power corrupts. I think that drive, that desire to get the Iron Throne, to be the ruler of the land, it can consume you. It can destroy you. We've seen it. We've seen that happen with obviously the Lannisters. We've seen that happen with Stannis, and now like this is the big question with Daenerys. We're not sure if she's going to be. Well, a lot of people clearly seem to think that she's corrupt, she's greedy, she just wants power, and that's very obviously what the show is trying to convey. Where I might disagree with a lot of people is I don't think she's going to end up being the other bad guy. I think that would be a little bit unfortunate in terms of her character development. I think it would be better suited for her be killed off or die fighting, supporting, trying to protect Jon, because I do think she loves Jon, and I know it's easy to say that the only thing she cares about is the throne. I think the last few episodes, or at least the point of the last few episodes, was to show that she does love Jon, and here we are. She's given the ultimatum, I guess. And now we're gonna have to wonder, what she's gonna choose between her throne or Jon. I really think she's gonna give it up for Jon. I really think Jon Snow will rule, or how do I put this? If Jon Snow rules, and if Dany survives, it will come about as a result of her giving up her claim willingly. And I think that's something that a lot of people aren't expecting because it's such a self-sacrificial thing to do, and it's not something we've seen Dany really been willing to do in a lot of cases in the show. That's all my thoughts for that scene. I'll give the mic over to you guys.
As far as Dany, I don't think she's going to be like the bad person at the end of it, but I think she has to go through this because of the way she's approaching things. She approached Essos differently, where she was liberating people and she was actually fighting for them. Where here is like she's just saying, "Oh, I'm fighting for you, the North," even though it's still kind of her situation. I think she doesn't understand what's been going on while she's been away. Like she's only been focused on the Iron Throne, but she doesn't know everything that's been going around, which is why I think she was upset with Tyrion, because Tyrion should know these things. He was basically there. As far as her and Jon, she looked like she was going to burn Jon right then, right there. She looked like she was pissed, like this man was trying to take her throne, like that. But I think it's hypocritical again because she told Sansa earlier that I trust Jon. He's like the second man who I've ever trusted, and I think it's weird that you would believe Bran that the wall fell down, that the Night King has your dragons, but you won't believe that Jon's a Targaryen. I just think that's kind of like you picking and choosing what you want to believe. And I think she's been so focused on just getting that Iron Throne, she didn't even pay attention that, oh, we're related, like that can't keep going on. I think as soon as she's heard that, the only thing she was thinking of is, you're a threat to my claim that I've been fighting for this whole time, where you haven't been fighting, and you probably don't. She probably knows that he doesn't even want it because he was so willing. He was quick to give away the North. But I agree with you. I don't think she's going to be the evil person at the end of the day. But I think the way she's going about it, she's not winning anyone over. And I think in order for her to win the North side, she has to be on the same accord as Sansa. And I think if in order for her to actually get the Seven Kingdoms, I think it technically won't be seven, but in order for her to get the Iron Throne, she's going to have to give up the North. But I mean, once again, she might not live. Sorry, Charlie.
Thoughts, Nico?
Sorry, guys, I have to go soon. I need to cook dinner. What was the question? I'm sorry. I was cutting chicken while you were
It's all
talking.
good. Just thoughts on the last scene.
What was the
Jon revealing to Dany about his true parentage, and also the scene where Sam gives Heartsbane to Ser Jorah.
Yeah, with Sam was very nice and touching. Yeah, but I think Jorah is done. I never thought about Jorah becoming the Lord Commander, but who knows? Because I always thought maybe Jaime, but Jaime has to die with Cersei, so maybe it makes sense what Dolores said. But anyway, It was touching. See, that's it. John and Danny. Um, I like this idea with T Baby said that she might give up everything for like just for having a romantic relationship and having a normal life. But when you really think about it, is this really possible? I always think about what LaDonna said back in, I don't know, when we discussed that they should establish some kind of, I don't know, parliamentary or some kind of democratic society. That would be good, a good idea to include in the show and the books. But still, you will have to have some kind of president, and who's going to be? So there, Tony is really rooting for Sansa, and he thinks he sees it that way. Some people see John, some people see Danny. I do like this Misa Misa because it was talked about many times in the books. We need to have this sword. So I don't know if she. I really, really cannot predict now because it's too many wild cards. Everything makes sense in a way. Like you can play down, yeah, Sansa can rule it, but Sansa should be in the north. So who's gonna sit the Iron Throne? Dan and Johnny together? Yeah, that would be a perfect compromise because yeah, we're both rulers, and then yeah, whatever. But are they gonna be comfortable with having a romantic relationship, knowing that they're related, like closely related?
Well, Targaryens have done it before, like somebody mentioned in the comments.
Yeah, but so what? I mean, that doesn't make it right. I mean, if they want genetically not, children that don't have some kind of mutations, but who the fuck knows? I really, really, I cannot give you like a prediction because I am very, very unsure. It probably, what I know, Tyrion is going to be the advisor of the ruler of at the Iron Throne. That's for sure. But he has to survive. He's going to be the only one to survive the Lannister line. And I understand what Tony said, but Tyrion is the one that Tywin hated. So in a way, it's a poetic justice that he's the only one who continues the Lannister line. As for Iron Throne, maybe Dany and Jon. Although I could see Jon killing Dany to get the sword and to use the sword to kill the Night King, and then there is no at all the ruler just senate or some kind of a year. I don't, fuck, it's really complicated. Anyway, I don't want to waste your time. So I want to hear your opinions.
You're never wasting our time. Stop it.
Exactly. No waste of nobody's time here. We all here chilling with each other and stuff like that. But we will wrap this up because I know you got to go, Nico. T's at a con. I don't want to keep her from all the activities that's going on at the con and the sword fighting and everything else. So let me ask this super chat real quick, and then we'll get Charlie's response and all that, and then we'll wrap this thing up real quick. Super chat from Sylvia. Thank you so much. What about the only people surviving are the ones who didn't strive for power? All power-driven people died up until now. What do y'all think about that? Will it be the bastards, the crippled and broken things that really make it in the end when it's all said and done? Or will there be people who have strived for power? Will they be around?
Sorry, could you get the question one more time?
Oh, I just erased it. It's basically
Shit.
saying, will the people who didn't want power wind up in power when it's all said and done?
My short answer to that is yeah. I think not the purpose of the show, but I think the end goal of the show is that people you wouldn't expect to rule or to be in a position of power will be in said position of power. I made a video years ago, which I always refer to, called "Why quote bastards." What was it? Why cripples, bastards, and broken things will rule Westeros. It was basically based off of a comment Tyrion made to Jon back in season 1, I believe, and it kind of got me thinking that, considering how many of the people you once expected to rule just get killed off, you're left with the remaining the people who remain, who are ironically who probably will be most apt to rule. I'm probably not explaining myself very well, Basically, I think it's almost biblical in a way. You know that line that the meek shall inherit the earth. It's kind of that sort of parallel, I think, except for Game of Thrones styles. So yes, that was my answer.
I think it's going to be a blend. I think you're going to have some people that were striving for power that will end up being in power. And I think you'll have some who didn't want power at all be pushed into a position where they do have power. I don't think it's going to be like one or the other, if that makes sense.
OTDA is on the money with the put Charlie's video right up in the super chat.
Yeah, I saw that. Damn.
Perfect, brother.
Thanks,
OTDA is the
OTDA.
man, man.
He's the best modder.
He got trained by Chrissy.
And that is where, oh, up, AK. I see you popping up in the background, making faces at a brother. I see you. I see you.
They in the background talking big shit. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
What big shit? Don't talking in the background. Get your ass on the
What? What?
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. Well, to be real quick, talking about the whole Daenerys situation, I just think we're talking about Daenerys and Jon Snow and all that. I just think it just shows that this chick is only about the throne. She hasn't learned yet, and that's what it is. She says specifically when she says to Sansa, she's in love with Jon Snow. She's there for Jon Snow. Well, now that he told her that he's not Jon Snow, is she still going to be there the same way for him? I think that's the question that we have to ask when it's all said and done.
Agreed with that.
Sorry, may I answer the question from the super chat?
Of course.
Yeah. This was like who's gonna end up on the throne? Maybe people who don't want it. I think it's going to be a mix. It always has to be a mix, because in life, sometimes you have to do things you don't want to, or have responsibilities you don't want to. That's the fact of life. But some power grabbing people usually also get what they want. So why not a mix? It's a balance. Those are my thoughts. Oh, by the way, can I have a shameless plug?
Yep.
Did you see in the news about the dark matter detector that detected the really rare decay of xenon 124? And this was published in Nature. And my name is... Yep.
That's your detector?
Yes. So...
Damn.
Is that online that people can see this or what?
Yes, you can check it on Twitter. Just try to get the latest Nature cover, and our detector is on the cover. It's really beautiful.
So get the Nature is the name of the magazine?
Yes, the #1 scientific magazine in the world.
Listen, get this Nature magazine. Buy it. Nico is that detector. She built it herself, her and her people, and hold it. And maybe we ever meet her.
Wait! I did not build it myself. No. There's 150 people working on that.
Oh, you're one of the people, and that means it's yours.
Yes.
But we only know you, so talk your shit.
It ain't got nothing to do with those people. We talk about you, girl. Nico's detector the making dark matter. Listen, this chick. Listen. This girl right here is making dark matter detectors, and she still finds time to come on here and talk Game of Thrones with y'all. You know how special that is, right? Would you ever see Albert Einstein on talking about Game of Thrones? No, you wouldn't. Would you ever see anyone like that? No, but Nico makes time for us people to do this because she loves you and she loves us and she loves Game of Thrones. Thank you so much, Nico. It's a very, very beautiful accomplishment. I'm so proud of you that you did that. I'm definitely going to cop that magazine just because you did that. And let me give another shout out to my man Charlie Westeros here, about to become a lawyer. He basically is a lawyer. Congratulations, Charlie, on becoming a lawyer. Really proud of you, sir. You put in the work, right? You put in the work, and you still had the time to come up here and chat with us little people. And I know if I ever get in trouble in Canada, your number's on speed dial, baby. So congratulations to you, Charlie. We're very proud of you for all that you've done.
Well, thank you, Tony. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I still got another year, but I can practice law sooner than later. And yeah, if you ever come here and get in trouble, better call Charlie.
I will. I'm calling for free though, Charlie.
Fair enough.
Unless people
It'll
got
be
me.
pro bono.
Unless people got me to super chat, you know what I mean? That is what it is. That is what it is. And Claire Gray, man, I need to see my name in the nails, man. Everybody else's name's been in the nails, but Teflon, that's kind of foul. So it hurt my feelings. If I don't see that happen soon. For real. For real.
Tony,
Go ahead.
Tony, I will say you're getting close to 40K.
Am
I have 38,000 subs. I feel like you're gonna hit the 100,000 sooner than later.
You know,
Get
sure,
that
maybe, I just like to hit it before I'm 65. I just like to hit it before I'm gonna have a cane or a walker or something like that, while I still look good and stuff like that. You know, that'll happen. You know what I mean? I would appreciate it like that if I got it. But thank you so much. Yeah, we are, I guess, on the verge of 40,000, and you know, many people didn't think we'd be able to get there. So I'm very proud to get there to 40,000. Take whatever we can get.
Yeah, and for someone who's doing it since the very beginning, nonstop. No breaks, unlike the rest of us plebs. I speak for myself.
No, nonstop. Just trying, trying to get. Thank you, Granite Person. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. Do we have any final thoughts before we bounce up out of here? I got my niece. It's got a birthday party, and I gotta go get some gifts for her.
I have a question.
I want everyone to know that Jamie's gonna die next episode. So get your tissue. It's gonna be crying time. Sansa's gonna survive. Y'all gonna cry, but it's Jamie's out of here.
T-baby. T-baby. Come on. Only if he goes with Tormund. I have a question for everyone. Oh, the beer. They've been asking about beer that I was drinking, right? It's been mentioned in the chat. I don't know. It's some German. What kind? Oh, dankjewel. This is what I'm drinking. I don't know what it is. It's Bavarian, Jeff's Bavarian Ale. Very good. Also, question for all of the people on the Small Council. I am going to the Netherlands next weekend, so we're going to maybe have to reschedule or think about how we're gonna do.
We will definitely do that.
Yeah, I will try to make it because I'm on vacation there, but I have some things to do. But just so people know that might be at the same time on Saturday.
No doubt, we'll figure out. I've got a super chat right here from Alice, and she says, "White Walkers and Kings of Winter hate iron, Ironborn and Bran." You know, I guess they do hate iron, and this dude is the Ironborn, but I don't see Theon doing nothing. He's never done anything yet to make me think that all of a sudden he's going to be effective against the army of the dead. He's never done anything versus the army of the living. In fact, he's a coward. I think that the bitch can creep right back out of his ass again if he gets put in a bad situation. We've seen that already happen to him. I think the bitch can come right out of his ass again if something bad happens. It's like we see with the Hound, right? The Hound, every time he's a tough guy, but when the flame comes out, the bitch comes right out of his ass. So I think it's a good possibility that could happen to him, the Hound, and also happen to Theon Greyjoy when the shit hits the fan.
Agreed with that.
All right.
Yeah, no, should we, do you have any last thoughts?
Yeah, anyone got any last thoughts? If we do, please let it be known. T-Baby, Ice and Fire Con, please tell Lisa Kingston to keep posting those pictures, all right, on the Facebook. And so I could see them. I like to see them all and stuff like that.
I'll try to do some video unless it get a little too wild because I don't want putting people out there like that.
Put the video up and tell a guy who's there that knows me that needs to contact me because I have a couple of questions that only a guy can ask. I can't ask you all these questions. I need a man down there to tell me. Just hit me up. I got a couple of questions I want to ask him.
That's so dirty.
I need some man talk. It's some man talk. That's all I know wrong with that. That's what men do. So any guy, Kevin Cleary, I think you there. Hit me up, Kevin Cleary. I got a couple questions I got to ask you about a couple of things going on there. And that's what it is, man. That's really. Anyone have any last word before we bounce up out of here?
I do.
Go for it.
I love you all, and you're my family. And I really miss James LaDonna, but I'm really glad to be on your channel, Tony.
Well, thank you. I wish it was on James's channel. I really do. I wish it was still there, but obviously James is really busy right now. The show must go on, and that's why we're doing it. But that hopefully before the season's over, we can get the whole crew back one time. I would love to get everybody. I'm talking Claire, Payne, Eli, everybody. I would love to get everybody back, everyone who was down with it, at least one more time before it's all said and done. You know what I mean? But that's what it is, man. I wish we could, but the show goes on. We keep it rolling.
Absolutely. So would I. But it's amazing we're able to get together, So I'm just thankful for that.
It is what it is. Charlie, let the people know they can find you.
Yes, so you folks can find me at Charlie in Westeros here on YouTube. I made a video with my predictions for who dies next episode, so if you want to see if I'm right or wrong, check it out. And yeah, we'll be back very soon with another small council discussion.
We'll definitely be back. T-Baby, have fun down there. Stay safe. I know I ain't worried about you. You got AK, you got your girls watching it back. I really ain't worried about anything, but still, stay safe. You know what I mean? And hold it down.
I got a lawyer over there with Charlie. Ain't nobody touching me. Shit. You can find me petty. Y'all can find me at T-Baby. We're doing a stream on Monday Tuesday. We're doing a stream on Tuesday at 7:30. where we're going to talk about Jaime dying. And it's like, now let me stop trolling y'all Jaime fans for y'all start crying. But we're going to talk about the episode. It's going to be fun. We might have a special guest come through. Y'all know. So just come through. Show some love.
No doubt about it. Tina Foyle, Nicolina.
Unfortunately, there's no Tina Foyle. You can find me in Freiburg, Black Forest, in Germany. That's it.
You can find a Nature magazine.
You can find a Nature magazine and then read about our amazing detector. I would really like. If you want, you can follow Xenon Wanton on Twitter. I'm there in the social media team. So that would be very nice. If you want to know about science and what we do, you should follow Xenon Wanton on Twitter. Thank you. And I love you. I really like all these people in the chat. I really enjoyed talking to you, reading what you, and hearing your thoughts. And I actually, I was not aware of this sir and dame. Somebody said that the equivalent of the sir is dame. So learned something today. And I really hope you're going to join us for the next episode. And I really enjoyed it.
Science podcast. You should do dealing with science.
Actually, yes, I need to film an interview.
Science of Thrones.
An interview regarding this paper, so I need to film that after dinner. Yeah. Thank you all. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye. I love you all, and we will do Rep in the Hood next time. I said I gotta get out of niece. I gotta get something from the niece and stuff like that, so we can get this. So I can get this gift at the parties tomorrow. So if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. You know who it is, right? Anyone want to say the line instead of me? No. All right. I guess I will say it as always. Peace and stay sexy.